In today's day and age, the idea of approaching and talking to a complete stranger can feel extremely overwhelming for a lot of people, especially nowadays because we've been given the ability with social media to learn everything about somebody without having to introduce ourselves. And so because of this, we've now put up barriers in real life that stop us from connecting with people in the most intimate way possible, and that is in person. The idea of somebody being a mystery is now considered to be a negative thing or intimidating. We have no idea what they're going to say, we don't know if we're going to like this person, we have no idea if we have anything in common. And so because of this, friendships that could be lasting a lifetime are now strangers who we just let walk right by. And so we're going to go over 5 tips that you can start using today to make talking to strangers incredibly easy. So first, we have to initiate the interaction, and the easiest way to do that is to ask this person a question, but not just any question. Ask this person to help you with something that is very easy to fulfill. Let me give you an example. It can be something as simple as asking someone for their advice on what you should order at a coffee shop. Another example would be asking someone to hold your spot in line at a grocery store so you can go run and grab something that you forgot. Once again, these are questions or problems that are very easy to fulfill. And by doing something as simple as this, you can gauge very easily if this person is friendly without having to put yourself out there and make it a very awkward situation. And since people naturally want to be helpful, this will ensure that your needs are met, and of course, they're going to go out of their way to be friendly. Just by doing this will create a pleasant first exchange, and it will set you off on the right foot immediately. And for whatever the favor happens to be, don't forget to show appreciation to let them know that they did in fact help you out. Once you've gotten the chance to talk for a few seconds, feel free to introduce yourself and ask their name as well. Believe it or not, a mistake I see a lot of people making is introducing themselves immediately with a firm handshake. In a business setting, that is completely acceptable. However, in day-to-day life, it comes off as way too formal and puts way too much pressure on the person you're talking to. And since we want to keep the interaction upbeat and easy, it's totally okay to introduce yourself after the first exchange. Tip number 2, and this might be the most game-breaking tip in the entire video, and that is, don't be afraid to make eye contact. You need to understand that making eye contact is not the same thing as staring. Did you know that it takes under 2 seconds of eye contact to categorize somebody as a friend or a threat? When first looking at somebody, they may not always smile right away, but what they will do is raise their eyebrows. This is one of my favorite subtle psychological signals that I use and look for all the time. Just by being aware of this small sign, you would be amazed at how many people are subconsciously telling you all the time that it would be completely okay to come and talk to them. But the problem is that so many people are caught up on the idea of not wanting to get caught staring at somebody. So let me clear that up for you really quickly. The problem comes when you make and break eye contact constantly for a prolonged period of time. So to sum this up, it's okay to stare once. Step number 3 is to control the tone of your voice. Whenever we're feeling nervous, it's very common for our voices to go up. This is psychologically used as a defense mechanism to show that we are of no threat. We mean no harm. An example of this tone would be very frequently heard from customer service reps. How can I help you? Is everything okay? Did you find everything you needed today? We often associate that voice with a sense of neediness and people-pleasing. And in the world of customer service, that's totally fine. But when it comes to making friends, we want to have an even exchange of respect. And so by having a natural tone, or even a deeper tone, you can actually command that respect just by changing your voice. And psychologically, this is something that stays consistent across all vibrations. Think about how differently you react to the sound of a puppy versus a guard dog, or the music from a children's TV show versus jazz or R&B. And you don't have to be the smoothest talker in the world to apply this trick. Just know that it does work. Step number 4 is to slow down when you're speaking. It's pretty easy to admit that everyone's greatest fear is to have that horrifying silence that feels like it lasts a lifetime. I'll say that a lot of people mess this up when it comes to conversing because they feel like they have to fill the silence in order to not come off as awkward. But you have to keep in mind that the person that you just approached probably wasn't prepared to have a conversation, in which case they might need a second to process your presence and then come up with a response that is appropriate for the situation. If you initiate the conversation speaking way too quickly and frantic, there's a very strong chance that the person that you're talking to is going to mirror your energy. And this is obviously not what we want. So instead, come into the conversation slow, calm, controlled, and embrace the silence. Give them a chance to respond. One trick you can use if you feel like you're staring into someone's soul and maybe it's too much eye contact for you is to casually glance away from time to time while you are speaking. This is something that I've been doing throughout the entire video, and if you haven't noticed, it's because it feels very natural. And lastly, tip number 5 is to keep the interaction short and sweet. You want to be respectful of their time, and one of the best things that you can do is try to end the conversation on a high note. You want to try your best to avoid rambling on about nothing, or even worse, ending the conversation on an inappropriate joke. Once you sense the conversation is coming to an end, you can simply say, "It was really nice talking to you. I'm going to get back to work, continue doing what I was doing," or anything along those lines, and then simply make your exit. By using these 5 tips, you'll be amazed at how differently you will start to see the world. And lastly, let me know if you like these more psychology-based videos down in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching.